Welcome back to the Everett Community College Fitness Center in North Everett. I'm Tom Lafferty along with Bill Kusler. Our statistician is Pat Castro. Our director of social media is Buddy Patrick. And our in-studio network producer is Brandon Hamilton. We're counting down to the tip-off for the opener of the 2014 WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington 4A Boys Basketball Tournament featuring the Jackson Timberwolves of the Western Conference and the Stadium Tigers of the Narrows League in Tacoma. Today's game brought to you by the Lake Stevens Ace Hardware Store, Roy Robinson Chevrolet and RV Center in Marysville, Everett Community College, Black Lion Heating and Air Conditioning, Glass by Lund, Columbia Funding Mortgage, Cascade Valley Hospital, Screen Printing Northwest, IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, Trinity Lutheran College, Skagit State Bank, Frontier Communications, and by WestcoAthletics.com. Thanks for being with us here on this Friday night. Back with you with a doubleheader tomorrow of girls basketball, but Bill Kusel, let's talk a little bit more about this ball game about set to tip off. Let's talk about the players to watch for Stadium, and you start with the big guy, and I'm talking the big guy in the middle.
Lucius Brown is 6'6", and he's about 6'6" across, too. He looks like a defensive lineman. Very big, and yet, he's not a real physical player. He's got a lot of finesse with a really big body. And then Bobby Moorhead, junior forward at 6'7", more of an outside shooting presence. And then Malik Mayu, a 6'6" forward who kind of gums up the middle. So they're big in the middle. They have kind of inexperienced and small guards. So it'll be interesting to see how they counteract Jackson's guard play.
Okay, now here's my prediction. I think that Jason Todd has been lying, as you corrected me, lying in the tall grass of the season, letting the other guys shine. Tonight starts a four-game personal quest, and he's going to go off tonight for 3 games at the Tacoma Dome next week.
Well, it was pretty obvious that Jason Todd is so unselfish, and he spent the whole year making sure that every single other player was involved in the offense, and wanted them to be as ready as possible for this next 4-game run. And now that those players are ready, I feel like he's going to take it a little bit more into his own hands, and we'll see, the player that we've seen all year and the player that was the Washington State Gatorade Player of the Year last year.
So are you buying into my City of Destiny curse?
No, well, you're right. The 2 losses in 2 years have both been to teams from Tacoma. However, one was ranked number 3 in the state. Curtis was a powerhouse last year. Stadium has played well and was a surprise, but I would not put them in the same top echelon with last year's Curtis team, this year's Lincoln of Tacoma team. But Stadium is a tough team. Jackson cannot take them lightly, but if they play their game, they should have a very good opportunity to advance.
There's been a bunch of wailing and gnashing of teeth over the whole 16-team tournament, regionals, matchup sites, draws, brackets. But Bill, like happens every year, you play the game. As Russell Wilson, what's next, right? You got to play whoever, wherever, and whenever they tell you to play.
You certainly do, and I'm really looking forward to today's game, Tom, because of the contrast in styles. Jackson likes to run and move the ball up. Stadium likes to slow the ball down. Let's see who is able to impose their will upon the other ball club.
And we want to say that it's been fun watching the other classifications we don't usually get to see during the regular season. Wilbur Creston and Tulalip Heritage in the first game tonight. Tulalip Heritage 81, Wilbur Creston 64.
Yeah, Tulalip Heritage ran off an 11-0 lead to start the ball game, and they were up by double figures most of the first half, but then in the third quarter, Wilbur Creston was able to cut that lead to 4 points at 58-54, and then Tulalip Heritage ended the ball game the last quarter and a half on a 23-10 run to defeat Wilbur Creston 81-64.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Stadium Tigers. They'll start a 5'11 senior, Mark Gallinesi, Eric Tuttle, a 5'6 senior, Bobby Moorhead, a 6'7 junior, Malik Mayu, a 6'6 senior, Lucius Brown, a 6'6 senior. Jackson Timberwolves, Dan Kingma, 5'10 senior, Jason Todd, a 6'5 senior, Brian Zaire, a 6'4 senior, Marcus Blake, a 6' senior, Connor Wilgress, a 6'5 senior. Leslie Smith is the referee tonight. The ball is in the air, and we are underway here at Everett Community College's Fitness Center in North Everett. People continue to file in as Kingma has it. Over to the right-hand side it goes. Dribble drive to the baseline there. Connor Wilgress closed off. Kick it back out to Zaire. Dribble in. Put it up. A reverse lay-in. No good. Surrounded by blue shirts. Todd had it for a minute, but grabbed by Stadium. Lucius Brown 6'6", and Bill is right. He is a defensive line. Red Bryant would like to have his side. Pull up, 3 ball on the way, offline, no good, taken by number 0. That's Mark Gallinesi, and the rebound controlled by Jackson. Here come the T-Wolves. Dribble drive in. What a move by Kingma. Goes to the deck, gets hit to the ground, no call, but a bucket is good. The first lead to Jackson.
And Jackson full court man-to-man pressure as they come up, and Jason Todd will be guarding Lucius Brown to start this ball game.
Brown top of the key, swing a pass over to the right-hand side. It goes into the hands of Moorhead. Now down to the right wing, Gallinesi. Little stutter step move there, almost looked like a travel looking for Brown. It's going to be taken away. Grabbed there on the steal by Brian Zaire. Give it off to Jason Todd. Goes in, reverse lay-in, no good. He'll have to go to the free throw line. That reverse lay-in, and he just streaked right by a couple of defenders. Foul is going to be called here as he goes to the Jason Todd will go to the free throw line.
So Todd on the drive, missed the lay-in, but drew the foul, and now he'll have an opportunity to stretch what is a 2-0 Jackson lead.
Bobby Moorhead with the foul, his first personal foul and the first team foul, and the first free throw of the contest going up here for Jason Todd. The 6'5 senior on his way to play at Portland next year. First free throw, no good, missed it. You know, we talk so much, Bill, about the offense for Jackson. They play great defense.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see this game in the 40s or 50s.
Next free throw, missed the first, hit the second. It's a 3-point lead for Jackson here early going. We played 1 minute and 11 seconds of the first quarter in the regionals. Losers out. The winner will advance and play in Tacoma next week. If you're a 4A boys team, you're playing in the morning next weekend. Could be that Egg McMuffin game. Lucius Brown, top of the key, hook pass, left side goes to Mayu, now deeper in the corner. Back out to Brown. Deep in the left-hand corner, it goes to Moorhead. Feed it down left-hand side to Mayu again. They go cross court. 14 on the shot clock. Calling the play with the right hand is Mark Gallinesi. Down to 10 on the shot clock, still out at the perimeter. Moorhead has it at the left wing. Down to 6 on the clock. Goes to left-hand side. Dribble drive Brown. Down to 3. Down to 2. Down to 1. And down into the hands of Dan Kingma. They used 29.9 seconds and then committed the turnover. And it's Kingma. Bounce pass. What a nice pass out to Todd. Now over to the right-hand side. A 3 ball on the way. No good by Wilgress. Offside rebound taken down. And up the floor. Here comes Stadium. Tigers to the baseline. Closed off there. That was Tuttle. Back out between the circles. Again, playing on the 94-foot court here rather than the 84 in most high school gyms. So going to get a few more extra miles out of these sneakers they're wearing. It's Stadium, the visiting team, 15 of the shot clock. They used all 35 seconds last time. What are they going to do here? Still at the left-hand side. That's Moorhead being prevented from going inside. Ball knocked out of bounds. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Block. Or Blake knocked it out of bounds. So 6 seconds on the shot clock, out of bounds for Stadium. They're not looking for very many shots here.
Well, Stadium's only taken 1 shot in the ball game so far. Great defense put up by Jackson.
Tuttle at the right side. Now to Brown. At the 2-second mark, chucks it up from the subway over in College Plaza, and it comes down no good. Rebound controlled by the Jackson Timberwolves. They're the home team tonight in their white jerseys, trimmed in green and black. Kingma dribble into the foul line. Look for a bounce pass to the left wing. Saved from going out of bounds there by Wilgress to Todd. Up fake for the 3, didn't take it. Dribble drive to the baseline. Ball knocked it out of bounds. Ooh, looked like it was knocked by Brown, but they're going to say last touch by Jason Todd, so it'll be Stadium basketball. Stadium with 5:07 to go in the opening quarter is yet to put one on the board. Jackson's only put up 3 points so far. Looking at a defensive struggle here in the opening round of the state tournament. The regional round, loser out. Across the timeline, Gallinesi goes right side to Moorhead. Bobby Moorhead, ball over his head. Looking down low, still looking. Bounces it out way out by the center line. A little confusing by the center line with lots of lines there, whether or not you're going to get that over and back call. Looking over, Coquet looking over at the coach like, what are we supposed to run here? 10 on the shot clock. Kicks it past left-hand side. Down to Mayu, dribbling in off the window, no good. Blake has it. Stadium just looks like in disarray as they come down and they play offense, not knowing what to do against this Jackson defense. But they play pretty good defense as well. Wide open, 3 ball on the way, no good by Zaire. Kept alive there by Jason Todd. Jump ball called, and the possession arrow will favor the Stadium Tigers.
And this ball game is definitely being played at the tempo that Stadium wants. Taking 25 seconds off the shot clock every time they have the ball, playing tough defense, not allowing Jackson to get some good shots. And here we are almost halfway through the first quarter. They've held Jackson to 3 points. Unfortunately for Stadium, they have not scored.
Up the floor, here come the Stadium Tigers. Goes over to the right wing, looking down low, but they'll go to Brown. Brown out between the circles, dumps it down low to Mayu. Surrounded, 1, 2, 3, 4 white shirts from Mill Creek. Surrounded, they get the steal. Jason Todd, he goes around the defender, lays it up, and puts it in. It's a 5-0 lead.
Great body control by Todd, because somebody went in and blocked that shot. He had the presence of mind to hang onto the ball, hang in the air a little bit longer, and then kiss it off the window.
Dribble drive along the baseline. Brown stepped on the out-of-bounds line, commits the turnover. Timeout. No timeout call. I thought Coquet was going to get up and call a timeout. He's not.
And Lucius Brown is limping
as
he comes off the court, and that could be an absolutely staggering loss, as he barely makes it back to the bench. And I don't know if it's an ankle or a knee, but he's definitely in pain.
He is in definite discomfort with his hand down there on the bench. The play resumes as they get a replacement in there. Dan Kingma dribbles between a couple of defenders, missed the lay-in, grabbed back down, up and no good by Brian Zaire, and he will go to the free throw line as a foul is being called. The training staff is down there with Lucius Brown, but he is leaning back against a chair in considerable pain. And see if they're going to bring him off the floor or keep him right there on the bench. The foul was called here on Mayu, picks up the foul. His first personal foul, second team foul, first free throw good for Brian Zaire, and he will get another.
Oh, this is just heartbreaking to see Stadium's best player in pain and on the bench, and just what a tough break, because those opening half of a quarter, just very toughly played game, but now Jackson opens up a 7-0 lead as we are over 4.5 minutes into this ball game. The Stadium has yet to score.
And they've got the basketball moving to our left in their navy blue uniforms, actually just royal blue uniforms, and orange and gold going in. First bucket of the game is going to be good for Malik Mayu. Split a couple of defenders, put it up and in. First 2 points of the ball game coming at the 3:07 mark to play in the first quarter for the Stadium Tigers out of Tacoma's Narrows League. Back to the basket now is Jason Todd, was going to go for a bounce pass. Instead, it's going to be stolen away by Mayu, and it'll be Stadium basketball. Dribble drive to the baseline, going in, off the window, swirls out, no good, and a tap-up, no good by Bobby Moorhead. Ball went out of bounds, last touch by Jackson. It'll be Stadium basketball with a fresh 35 of the shot clock. They've got it in front court to our left.
And the Stadium coaches or training staff has taken Lucius Brown to the locker room. He's no longer on the bench. Sometimes when adversity strikes, it makes everybody else play better. So let's see if Stadium can find some magic there without him in the lineup.
Well, the magic won't be this possession because Eric Tuttle drags his pivot foot, commits the turnover. That's the 5th turnover of the ball game committed by the Stadium Tigers.
And that's unfortunate because right as he did that, Bobby Moorhead hit a 3, but it was disallowed because of the travel.
Mark Gallinesi will check back in for Stadium. Eric Tuttle will go to the bench. Stadium coming in at 16-8 overall, 9-3 in league play, in Narrows League play, and they went 2-2 in the West Central District, which sent 7 to the regionals. Brian Zaire has it. Now way out on top, NBA 3 comes off no good by Dan Kingma. Surrounded and knocked out of bounds there by Jackson, so it'll be Stadium basketball.
And neither team's shooting very well, but sometimes that's not unusual when you're playing in a brand new venue like this. We've talked about how beautiful this place is, but also it's different sight lines than these teams are used to. Sometimes it takes a quarter to get your shooting eye.
So up the floor, here comes Stadium, down by a 7-2 count. Very low scoring ball game so far. Gallinesi dribble drive along the right-hand side. Little spin move there by Jordan O'Connor. Down low they go. Nice early offense there. Ben Cottrill gets it, lays it up and in, and it's a 7-4 lead for Jackson. Here come the Timberwolves with the basketball. Moving to our right. Desire back to the basket, the low block. Spins away from the defender. Too hard off the glass, no good. Tap up, no good by Jason Todd. And the rebound controlled by Malik Mayu for the Stadium Tigers. They'll run it up the floor. Here comes Stadium. Long cross-score pass right side to Gallinesi. Looks over at their coach, Doug Coquet. His brother also coaches in the Narrows League. A little spin move there. Nice move by Bobby Moorhead. They found their bus legs, and they pull Stadium to within 1 point of Jackson. They've gone on a 6-0 run down low.
Lucius Brown back onto the bench, and he's going to check in.
Now they go down low. Brian Zare. Zare got hit in the eye, it looks like. And kind of politicking there, Mayu saying, I just got all ball. I didn't foul him, but that's going to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, his second personal foul, so that could definitely become a factor.
Moorhead picks up the foul. That's his second personal foul, third team foul. And a free throw here for Brian Zare, the 6'4 senior. Zare, the third leading scorer for the Jackson Timberwolves at 11.3 points per ball game. 15th leading scorer in the Wesco 4A, and he hits the first free throw. Opens up a 2-point lead for Jackson, 8-6, with 1:19 to play in the opening quarter.
And he's one of those many Jackson players that on any given night can hit for 20.
Sam Sauferer, the sophomore, checks in for Jackson.
Along with Holden Roberts.
And Connor Wilgrass and Marcus Blake will go to the bench. Second free throw. First one was good. Second one is good as well. It's a 3-point lead for Jackson, 9-6. Stadium in their royal blue uniforms trimmed in gold, moving to our left from Tacoma's north end. Gallinesi brings it up. Goes right side to Cottrill, looking down low, and here's a near steal by Zare. Zare does get the steal as he split away from the defender. Another spin move, and a reverse land is missed, no good. Gets his own rebound after it was kept alive by Sauferer. Now Holden Roberts goes in. The ball is stripped, and he's fouled on the way in. Is it me, or have I seen more reverse lay-ins this year that you never used to see?
Now, part of it is that they're getting good defense on the front side, and they're being prevented from going directly to the hoop. Nice play by Holden Roberts, and a great play to get the offensive rebound earlier for Jackson to keep this possession alive.
First free throw is no good. He will get another. Holden Roberts at the stripe. Checking in for Stadium will be Eric Tuttle. 57.1 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. A 9-6 lead for Jackson. Next one by Roberts is missed, so he missed them both. The lead is 3, and Lucius Brown back out to the floor. And Gallinesi brings it up, dribbles across the top of the key, swings it over the right-hand side to Tuttle, looking down low. Starts the dribble, guarded there by Sauferer, knocked away from him. Ball goes out of bounds, last touch by Stadium. So Sauferer, good defense there, causes the ball to go out of bounds, and the 6th turnover of the game for Stadium, and it's out of bounds for Jackson.
A little bit of dissension within the Stadium ranks as Malik Mayu has kind of given Tuttle a little bit of a bit about that pass, and that doesn't bode well when you're having some difficulties like that, some tension within your ball club.
It's kind of like the broadcast crew. None of us can stand each other before the ball game. Jason Todd, top of the key. Goes over left-hand side to Kingma. 27 seconds to go, about a 4-second differential to the shot clock. Doesn't matter to Kingma. He'll cast off and shoot a college three, won't go. Will he reload? Yes, he will, but this time it'll be a scoop lay-in off the pass from Jason Todd, and it's an 11-6 lead, a 5-point lead with 11 seconds to go as Brown brings it across the timeline. Down to 7, down to 6. They start the offense. Brown has it. He'll pull up and shoot a three, long three, bounces high in the air, won't go, and the rebound is going to be grabbed there by Jackson, but the first quarter comes to an end, and our score, the Jackson Timberwolves 11, the Stadium Tigers 6. You're listening to Snohomish County Western Conference Basketball, the regionals on Classic Country 1520 KXA. Okay.
Wow, this is hold Jackson to 11 points. That's pretty good.
Eagles in the district tournament championship game. Here they lead Stadium 11-6. Bill?
Yeah, no doubt that this is a defensive struggle. Of course, Stadium only gave up 46 points per ball game defensively, and Jackson gave up 44 points per game defensively all season long. So you kind of had figured it was going to be a low-scoring ball game.
Underway, second quarter. Sauferer, bounce pass goes down to Jason Todd. Double team there. He'll just step back, turn around, fire from 10, won't go. Rebound controlled by Lucius Brown, the 6'6 senior. He is a big one. Went off the court in some discomfort a little earlier, but he's back out there playing now. Stadium with the basketball. Moving to our left. Gallinesi has it. Goes over the left-hand side to Jordan O'Connor. Dribbles across the top of the key as they work the perimeter. 17 on the shot clock. Right-hand corner, Gallinesi again. Over the left-hand side it goes. Looking down low, little step-through move, and bank it off the window and in. Malik Mayu got it for about a 2-foot banker, and it's an 11-8 lead. 3 points for Jackson. Can't pull away yet. Blake Ozuna on the floor. Has it at the right wing, and now they'll work the perimeter out to Dan Kingma. Little give and go, bounce pass to Jason Todd for the lay-in up. Nice pass by Kingma.
First quarter stats, Stadium just 3 for 8 from the field, 37%, 0 for 3 from three-point range. Jackson 3 for 13 from the field, 23%, 0 for 4 from three-point range, but they hit 5 of 8 free throws.
Gallinesi, a little sprint move down to the baseline, but kicked it back out at top of the key to Catrill, and then the ball's going to be diving on the floor is Ozuna, picked up by Saufer to Kingma, lay it, good! The steal on the hustle play, but now they'll go quickly up the floor. And they're going to call carrying as Lucius Brown looked up, saw the hoop, but he also saw, did you see that, Bill? 5 defenders already back for Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson was flying back on defense, and actually Brown did not go on the last defensive situation, so he was kind of sandbagging
in the back. We called that sandbagging.
Yeah, exactly. He's a big kid, and the pace of the ball game, might have him a little bit tired.
With 6:28 to go in the first half, a timeout on the floor. We'll take a break. Jackson 15, Stadium 8. This is Classic Country 15-20. KXA. Or did he have possession?
I don't think he quite had possession.
No,
I would imagine they'll keep the shot clock at 20.
20 seconds on the shot clock. Out of bounds on the far side away from us, out by the center line. So inbounded here for Stadium. Dribble drive along the right-hand side, Moorhead. Closed off there. Now goes back down to Mayu. Puts it up off the window and in. Kingma went to the ground, but the ball went through for Mayu, and it's 24-16. Jackson at 2:20 to play in the first half.
Mayu's played a good first half of action. He only averages 7.5 points per ball game, but he's the only one that's been consistently scoring for Stadium.
Jason Todd got a pass out to Brian Zaire, and then he shuffled the pivot foot, and it'll be a turnover for Jackson. Jackson committing their fourth turnover of the ball game compared to 10 for Stadium in the game. Lucius Brown, left-hand corner, dribbling down. He's triple team there. Somebody's got to be open. That's Mayu. Back to Brown, high pass, saved it, dribbling in with a shoulder against Jason Todd. They're going to call Todd for the foul. And he kind of just shakes his head like, what are you going to do? As he was hammering him all the way around with the shoulder down, but he kept on the move, and Todd finally had to commit the foul. Brown at the free throw line. Jason Todd, first personal foul, second team foul with 1:52 to go in the first half.
Well, Jason Todd and Lucius Brown about the same height, but I would say Brown outweighs Todd, would you say 40 pounds maybe?
Oh, 55, 60 pounds. Lucius Brown is big.
Yeah, he looks like he might go about 270, and he's surprisingly light on his feet for a big guy. Not unlike Pat Castro.
Next free throw, as the first one was good for Brown, second one also is good. And from a 10-point lead to a 6-point lead for Jackson. And the Timberwolves on their home, they're the home team tonight here at Everett Community College. Brian Zaire to the top of the key, now to Kingma, shoots and hits a 3-ball right wing. Put it up and put it through, and it's 27-18.
Yeah, that was a big play. Stadium is clawing and scratching to try to get back into this ball game, and then he calmly puts that 3 down, gives him 13 points in the first half.
Brown on the dribble, double team there, back over to Mayu at the left wing. Looking to dribble it across the top of the key, he does. Goes right side to Moorhead. Looking down low, Moorhead changes directions on the dribble, goes to the right wing. Now dribbling in a little bit closer is Brnovich, and it's stolen again by Marcus Blake. He just can't buy a break. He gets the steal and then steps out of bounds immediately.
Well, look at how wide those out-of-bounds lines are. They're easy to step on.
Well, now they reset the clock this time at 35, and now the officials are they going to say, yeah, he did have possession enough to reset?
I think he did for a step before he stepped on the sideline.
Okay, so reset on the 35, 1:11 to play in the first half. Inbounds now for Stadium. Ball knocked out of bounds by Zaire off the inbounds, intended for Mayu. So they'll inbound it about 14 feet closer to the baseline at the far sideline. in front of the standing Jackson Timberwolf student section. Long cross-court pass, Marcus Blake knocks it out of bounds. No, they're going to say it was last touch there by Eric Tuttle of Stadium. So it'll be Jackson basketball. So all of that tough defense, and Jackson gets the ball back with 1:09 to play.
I'm really impressed with the defense that Marcus Blake has played with in the first half. Had that one little misadventure on a steal for a lay-in earlier in the ballgame, but his defense has been tremendous.
Brings it across the timeline. Comes to the top of the key, that's Zaire. Zaire goes right side to Kingma. Now changes direction, turns, fades, fires from 12, no good. Brown grabs the rebound, inside a minute to play in the first half. Down the floor they go, laying up, too hard, no good. A miss by Brnovich, back up, no good. Blocked by Zaire on Tuttle, and it's going to be grabbed there by Kingma. Feeds it to Todd, lay-in is missed. A putback no good for Kingma, and he's called for the foul. Some nice passing. They're just nobody's getting assists because they're missing the lay-in.
Yeah, Jason Todd has had kind of a rough night so far on the offensive end. He has just 5 points in the ball game, and it has missed several close-in shots.
Coming up at halftime, we'll have a look at scores of other ball games. Lots of finals have come in from the first half of the Friday night doubleheaders all over Western and Eastern Washington here in the regional round. 30 seconds to play, 26 in the shot clock, so about a 3-second differential. Dribbling in, they're going to call a foul, they're going to count the basket, and Bobby Moorhead is going to go to the free throw line to try to complete the three-point play. Knocked over the defender, but they're going to call the block. Now, we're on a college floor, so that little half-moon circle underneath the hoop is there, but high school rules, you can't use it yet.
Yet, but it'll be coming. But Moorhead totally out of control. I do not know how that ball went in the basket, but it did indeed, and he has an opportunity to put that big Jackson lead and whittle it back down to 6 points.
Foul was called on Kingma. That's his second personal foul. Fourth team foul. Free throw, no good. It won't get the three-point play. It's a 7-point lead, 23 seconds to go. Jackson will bring it up. Kingma will do it. Now to Zaire across the timeline. 17 seconds to go. Shot clock is dead. Over to Saufer. Now to Kingma. Calls the play with the left hand, taps the top of his head. Down to 10 seconds to go. That means I'm going to take a three ball as soon as I can. He does. He steps back. Wanted to, didn't. Scoop. Wasn't going to be a scoop shot. It was going to be kind of a scoop pass to Zaire. Wasn't expecting it. Went out of bounds. So with 3.8 seconds to go, Stadium will have to go the length of the floor to try to score before the end of the half. They're going to take Kingma out. Smart there by Steve Johnson. Don't let him get his third personal foul. Put him on the bench. Put Blake Ozuna in.
Kingma's so good at creating his own shots at that time. Stadium had really good defense. He didn't know what to do and just threw kind of an ill-advised pass.
Inbounds it comes down to half court. He's going to shoot. The ball goes up. It goes in. Count it. We're on the college floor, which means the lights surround the outside of the glass backboard. And Bill, definitely count that one. It was in the air before the clock ever got down and the horn sounded.
Well, Stadium ended that with a 7-point run to pull within 4, and here we are at halftime. Jackson was comfortably ahead, 27-16. At halftime now, Jackson 27, Stadium 23.
Yeah, we are at halftime. Stay with us. Our halftime festivities. and Todd Weber. And we're back underway. Jackson with it, moving to our left in their home white uniforms, and we start play. Jason Todd lofts it down low to Brian Zare. Double, triple pump fake, blocked right back at him, and picked up by Brown. Brown will pick it up and get the steal, but it's going to be knocked away from him by Jason Todd up the floor. And then Todd gets it back and then immediately gets it down to Zare, and he double dribbled the basketball. Zare didn't know he was going to be the recipient of that pass. Some nifty moves there by Jackson, but they come away still with no points.
Yeah, that was a tough one, as Stadium really transitioned back on defense quickly, and now going against man-to-man full court pressure by Jackson will bring the ball down the floor.
Stadium nearly a steal by Blake. Stadium in their royal blue uniforms, trimmed in gold, moving to our right. Looking down low, dribbling across the top of the key now is Moorhead. Out it goes to Cottrell. Dribbles it over the right-hand side. 14 of the shot clock. In the corner to Mayu. Back out, they'll work the perimeter. 10 of the shot clock. Still working it around the perimeter right side. Moorhead shoots and misses the three ball. Mayu, surrounded by Jackson players, gets the rebound, but then bad pass, and a foul is going to be called off a steal there by Marcus Blake. Blake's gotten more just slashing type steals going against the, using the out of bounds as kind of a barrier, and that time he gets hammered to the ground, and the foul is going to be called.
Yeah, that was a great play, though. It was under control, and Stadium prevented an unmolested lay-in by taking that foul.
Eric Tuttle picks up the foul, his first personal foul. Any relation to Tom Tuttle of Tacoma? You have to have seen the movie with John Candy. Here's the shot on the way. Good. Dan Kingma just turned, and I don't think he even looks at the hoop, does he? It just goes up and leaves his hand.
And that gives him 16 of Jackson's 30 points and extends the lead to 7.
30-23, 6:34 to go, third quarter. Gallinesi across the top of the key. Goes left-hand side to Tuttle. Tuttle looking down low. Now to Moorhead, back to Tuttle again. 16 of the shot clock. Go down low to Mayu, backing in. Fancy footwork. Too much fancy footwork. Committed the traveling violation. Turned right back over to Jackson.
It's really interesting watching Brown is if he doesn't get a touch, he kind of doesn't play very hard, to put it mildly. And so he kind of takes himself out of some of their offensive possessions just by his attitude.
And down low it goes as Blake had it, got it to Zare, gets it back. Back out to Jason Todd, top of the key. Kind of put up an elbow, but Mayu kind of backed into him a little bit too hard, right in his grill. And they're going to call the blocking foul there. That would have brought Jim Boeheim off the bench.
Yeah, Mayo was not set, but he did foul Jason Todd's forearm with his neck.
Here's Dan Kingma dribbling it down to Zare. Zare has it underneath to Todd. The reverse laying up good. Jason Todd with the bucket. And it's 32-23, back to a 9-point lead for Jackson. They've led by as many as 10 in the contest. Double dribble as Eric Tuttle came across the timeline, picked up the basketball, and then dribbled it again.
You know, Jason Todd on that previous possession, he does such a great job of positioning his body to block the defender away from him, and once he got that pass, it was just easy going to the hoop.
Timeout called by the Stadium Tigers. We'll talk about Stadium here in a moment. They just seem to be kind of in disarray. Well, in fact, let's keep it right here. That time, Eric Tuttle was called for the violation. He came across and looked at the coach and pulled on his uniform like, "You're supposed to have taken me out. I want a drink of water."
Yeah, I don't know what he was saying in that situation, but the thing that I've noticed is that, Lucius Brown, when he doesn't get touches on the offensive end, he shows with his body language that he just kind of leaves the possession. Now, Malik Mayu has been working his tail off underneath, and you can see every play, and Brown is just, frustrated, and he's not playing as hard as he should. And if he continues to do that, they're not going to have an opportunity to get back in this ball game. He's got to shake it off and play with some teamwork. Jackson, on the other hand, starting to heat up shooting the basketball after shooting only 30% in the first half. They've hit 2 of their first 3 shots here in the third quarter, and have been able to pull to a 9-point lead.
Give you halftime score on the WestcoAthletics.com scoreboard. O'Day leading Shorecrest in 3A boys 42-39. So the Fighting Irish leading the Scots 42-39. That is a halftime score.
Wow, I thought O'Day would crushed the Scots. I'm really impressed that they're within 3 at halftime.
Since the second half of the year, we've been calling Shorecrest the surprising Shorecrest Scots. Here's Jason Todd underneath, surrounded by defenders, and tried to go in for a lay-in, had it blocked back, and then picked up by Stadium. So it's Tigers basketball, down by 9, 32-23. And they swing it up the right-hand side. With the basketball is Robert Brnovich. Starts the dribble, guarded tough there by Dan Kingma. 17 on the shot clock. Now to Mayu, lost a handle on it momentarily, goes and retrieves it. 12 on the shot clock. Another slashing steal. Blake for a lay-in, good. He's got at least 6 of those slashing type steals.
Wow, even though he's only scored 2 points, but I think he has to have some consideration if they win for player of the game, just the way he's played defensively. He has just been all over the place. He's been credited with 3 steals only because 3 of the other ones he stepped on the baseline and was unable to control it. But he has been totally harassing the Stadium guards, and I think that's something that they scouted, did Jackson, that they could put pressure on those guards and cause a lot of problems, and Blake has done a whale of a job.
Now he's called for a foul here, his first personal foul, and the first team foul of the second half. 34-23, Stadium basketball going in. Reverse lay-in up no good by Brown. Looks at the official for a foul, didn't get it called. He was staying back in the backfield there, as heading upfield was Dan Kingma. He got kind of sideswiped as he came up the floor. And it'll be out of bounds for Jackson. The foul is on Bobby Moorhead, his 3rd personal foul, and the 3rd team foul of the second half against the Tigers.
They don't want to lose Moorhead, but they have to bring him to the bench. And, they bring Cottrell off the bench, but Cottrell's 5'10", Moorhead's 6'7", so they lose a lot of height.
And here comes Jackson with the basketball. That's Kingma. Comes to the top of the key. Goes to Will Gress at the left wing. Feed it down low to Jason Todd. One dribble, double pump, triple pump, lay-in missed, ball out of bounds. Last touch by Stadium.
Another block shot. Seems like every time Todd posts the ball in there low, he gets a nice look, but Malik Mayu, at 6'6" and long arms, is just getting just enough of a finger on that ball to misdirect it. So he's played very well defensively against Todd. Now
he's standing right in front of him as they're going to inbound from the corner baseline. Wilgress goes to the Sam Sauferer checks in for Jackson. 4:23 to play in the 3rd quarter. Inbounds, ball kicked. Ball kicked by Mayu. So it'll reset the 35 if it hadn't been yet, and it'll be out of bounds now again for Jackson. Zaire, top of the key. Zaire out between the circles now, give it up to Kingma. He says, clear out, guys, I got this. He'll start the dribble between the legs. Cross court, changing hands between the legs again. Pull up, 3 on the way. Front of the iron, no good. Rebound controlled by the Stadium Tigers. Grabbed by Ben Cottrell, and here comes Brown out of back court. The big kid goes in, kind of stumbles down, loses the handle on it. Kingma with the steal. Up the floor, here come the Timberwolves. Around through traffic, looked like Liggety going down the floor with a slalom, but he got checked to the baseline and going in after the steal. The laying up good by Lucius Brown, and it's 34-25, a 9-point lead for Jackson. Timberwolves again with it. Down low to Zaire. Push from behind by Lucius Brown. Foul called on Brown.
Well, Brown got the lay-in on the other end of the floor once again, not transitioning back on defense. And that time he picks up the foul, but they did get the lay-in. But Jackson, had 7 unanswered points to start the second half, just like there's 7 unanswered points to start the ball game.
2nd personal foul on Brown, 4th team foul. Here's a 3 on the way. Offline, no good for Zaire. Saved by Todd, but into the hands of Cottrell. Up the floor, intercepted there by Kingma. Down to Todd. To Zaire for the two-handed flush. Count the basket for Brian Zaire. That's Major League passing right there. Off the steal by Kingma to Todd, who fed it perfectly to Brian Zaire for the two-handed slam dunk. He got fouled and he'll go to the free throw line.
He gets so high up in the air.
It.
It's not just a little bit of a slam. I mean, he is way, way up there. I mean, Zaire is big at 6'4", but he's not that big, and he really, really got up there.
The foul's on Malik Mayu. That's his 4th personal foul, so he will go to the, well, I was going to say the bench, but it's those really nice padded seats. Free throw missed by Zaire, but Blake grabs the rebound. NBA 3 rattles off no good by Kingma Foul called off the rebound. It's going to be against Zaire, trying to grab the rebound off the miss by Dan Kingma. And it's going to be on Brian Zaire. His second personal foul, second team foul of the second half here against Jackson. The Timberwolves lead it by 11, 36-25. 3:12 to play in the third quarter. Here comes Stadium. Kind of feel like they're running out of time. Lucius Brown dribbling in. Wow! Nobody stepped in. Well, you don't want to step in front of him. That's like stepping in front of a Greyhound bus. He gets the lay-in up, but nobody steps in front of Jason Todd on the other end. He gets a lay-in, so they answer big guy lay-in for big guy lay-in.
Well, Jason Todd just totally beat him down on the offensive end after he made the lay-in, not coming back on defense, and Todd took advantage of it.
Here's another steal. It was actually knocked away by Salfer. Here we go, laying up no good by Todd. Whistle sounds. Buddy Patrick, you had something in my ear. 13 steals so far in this ball game.
That is just amazing.
Yeah.
Zaire and Blake with 3 steals apiece, Kingma and Todd with 2 steals apiece, and then 3 other guys with 1 apiece. And defensively, they are just playing lights out.
Lucius Brown with the foul. That's his third personal foul and the 6th team foul. So one more puts Jackson in the bonus the rest of the way. And Jackson's got 5 fouls to give. Brown's going to go to the bench now. 2:37 to play in the third quarter. 35 seconds on the shot clock. And it's Jason Todd at the free throw line. Free throw good. 40-27. A 13-point lead. That's the biggest lead of the game for the Jackson Timberwolves. Now Stadium with the basketball. Top of the key, Moorhead. Changes direction on the dribble. Dribbling in. Thank you very much. Steal. Sam Salfer doesn't have numbers. Goes in, laying up. Good! Hammered to the bench. Goes to the padding along the baseline. Jackson guards have spent more time on the deck, but no foul there, but that's okay. The lead is now 15 points for Jackson. Feed it down low, going in. Moorhead too hard off the side of the backboard, no good. Jason Todd grabs the rebound, dribbles it himself out of backcourt. Corner, 3, no good for Blake. Kept alive by Zaire. High in the air, who's got it? It's going to be stolen again there by Blake, and then he saved him going out of bounds. There was a scrum for it on the ground, and a timeout called by Stadium. As they're scrambling for it on the deck, Stadium, head coach Doug Coquet says, timeout. And Steve Johnson's out talking to the official saying, you got to be kidding me. Tell me who had possession of the basketball. Nobody did. Have I mentioned that I don't like the coaches being able to call a timeout in that situation?
I think I've heard you say that a time or two.
We'll step aside with 1:49 to go in the third quarter of action. Our score, the Jackson Timberwolves 42, the Stadium Tigers 27. Snohomish County Western Conference Basketball and Classic Country 15-20. KXA.
Can you imagine having to coach your best player acting like that? Look at that. He's not even in the huddle. He's sitting whining on the bench. He could be so good if he just...
Okay.
That just drives me crazy. And I like the coach. I feel like, oh, man. You make the tough decision. Just sit him on his tailbone until he snapped out of it.
One minute, 49 seconds to go in the third quarter. Kind of a delay here as they're wiping up some sweat down in the front of the Jackson bench area. Stadium will inbound it here. Down by 15 points now to Jackson, 42-27. We'll give an update from down south at Kent Meridian High School in a moment, the Arlington-Kent Ridge game. Out between the circles now. That is Moorhead. Pull-up jumper on the way, no good. As it was blocked there by Salferer and then knocked out of bounds, so it'll stay in the possession of Stadium in the front court to our right with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Looking for the inbounds. Now they get it down low, little scoop lay-in. No, they never got the lay-in up, but a put-up shot is going to be no good by Blake Wilcox, who was checked in, the 6'5 freshman. kind of in disarray there, the Stadium Tigers. Their best player is going to come back in here in just a moment. Did not take part in the timeout festivities out in the huddle. Now feed it down low. Here's Jackson with the basketball. Left-hand side, Saufer nails the three ball up and good from the left corner off the assist from Jason Todd.
Jackson has outscored Stadium 18-4 in this quarter.
And they're up 45-27 inside a minute to play in the third quarter. Right side, Ben Cottrell now dribbles out between the circles, changes direction, puts up the right hand to push the defender away. Now dribble drive along the baseline going in. Pull-up jumper by Moorhead misses. Foul called on the way in. Lucius Brown going to check back into the ball game. He went to the sideline earlier, did not participate in the timeout in the huddle with head coach Doug Coquet, but checks back in here. Jason Todd goes to the bench. 43.3 seconds to go in the third quarter, a 45-27 lead, 18-point lead, biggest lead of the game for the Jackson Timberwolves as we wind down here in the third quarter. Ball, again, who's got it? Carrying it out of bounds? Marcus Blake, like usual.
He got his hand on it, and even though he doesn't get the steal, it's just so disruptive that those Stadium guards just don't feel like they can, penetrate and handle the ball at all.
They don't like him very much is what it is.
That's true.
Little spin move there. Ben Cottrell, 25 on the shot clock, 30 on the game clock. Dribbling across the top of the key, Eric Tuttle, whistle away from the basketball. It's going to be out of bounds at the baseline here for Jackson, I think.
Well, one of the Stadium players, Cottrell was trying to post up Kingma and tried to hook him with an elbow, and that's his fourth personal foul.
And the seventh team foul, but a offensive foul, player control foul, so there'll be no shots, and here comes Jackson with it. Kingma comes across the timeline. Shot clock is dead, 18 on the game clock here in the third quarter. To Blake, to Sauferer, back to Kingma again, up by the center line. Calls the play with the left hand, down to 9 seconds to go. What's the play? It's Lucius Brown ran right into him. If he ran over him, he'd be squashed like a bug. He just kind of grazed him a little bit, and he looked like he'd gotten hit by a car. Fourth personal foul.
Looked like a Roadrunner cartoon
That's
there.
Right. Yeah, Dan Kingma, about 145 pounds soaking wet? So he'll be at the free throw line. Brown will go back to the bench for Stadium. 6 seconds to play in the third quarter. Dan Kingma at the line, free throw good. He'll get another. The lead is up by 19 points, biggest lead. Could be 20 with the next free throw. And Kingma will get another free throw here. It's on the way, good. It's a 20-point lead. 5.9 seconds to go. Here comes Moorhead out of backcourt, comes across the timeline, chucks it from midcourt. Nothing will happen there, and we have reached the end of the third quarter of action in the Everett Community College Fitness Center, the 2014 WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Boys 4A State Basketball Tournament. We're in the regional round, and our score after three. The Jackson Timberwolves 47, the Stadium Tigers 27. Snohomish County Western Conference Basketball on Classic Country 1520 KXA. Team. Oh, Mayu double dribbled the basketball. He came up kind of hesitated. He who hesitates is lost, and he hesitated there and commits the turnover. Bill, you got some numbers?
I do. In the third quarter, Stadium was held to just 7 shots from the field. They were 2 of 7, 28%. Jackson hit 7 of 17, 41%, plus 2 of 5 from three-point range, 4 of 5 free throws to outscore Stadium 20-4 in the third quarter.
Stadium with 22 turnovers in this ball game. Connor Wilgress with the basketball for Jackson. 20 to shoot. He's got it up by the center line. Now he gets it off to Saufer, right corner. Blake elevates, fires, 3. Side of the iron, no good. Rebound's going to be controlled by Stadium. Grabbed by Brnovich. Up the floor they go. That's Galanesi with it over the left-hand side. 3 ball on the way. Good. Good for the 3 by Brnovich, the 5'10 sophomore. Makes it 47-30. And now Zare looked like a pull-up jumper. Said he got it to a running Connor Wilgress for the hook shot up, and it is good. Back to a 49-30 score. 19-point lead for the Jackson Timberwolves.
That hook shot kind of brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
I love the hook. Why did somebody develop a sky hook? Right-hand side for Stadium. That is Cottrell. Feed it back out to the top of the key now. Brnovich give it off and dribbling in. Moorhead, a little double pump fake, puts it up, no good. Rebound is taken there by Jason Todd. Fouled as he grabbed the rebound, and will march to the other end for free throws coming up here, as that's the 9th team foul on Stadium. Only 3 so far in the half against Jackson, and the foul is going to be on Bobby Moorhead, and that's his 4th personal foul. Bill, the fouls are racking up.
Yeah, Moorhead, Mayu, and Brown all with 4 personal fouls.
Now Moorhead goes to the bench.
Oh, Cockrell too. There's 5 players with 4 personals.
Brown checks in. Moorhead goes to the bench. So now Doug Coquet is going to have to try to mix and match players out there as he on the tightrope of 5 personal fouls. Jason Todd at the free throw line for Jackson. Free throw up, rims off, no good. That's all he will get, 49-30, and the Stadium controls, but here's a steal taken by Todd for the lay-in good. Jason Todd with another steal in this ball game, and the bucket this time, and it's the biggest lead of the game for Jackson, up by 21 points. Left-hand side, Brnovich out to between the circles. Mayu hands it to Brown. Brown will start the dribble, dribbling in with the left hand, goes in, runs over. No, he called him for the travel. He kind of slaps at both thighs like he couldn't believe it, and he thought he got fouled. Probably could have been called for a charge as well.
You know, I want to comment about Jason Todd on the other end. You know, going in, he had a trailer. It's one of those situations where you think he might go up and dunk, but that's not what Todd is going to do. He's going to make sure that he gets the lay-in with that guy trailing behind him.
So 51-30, out of bounds now for Jackson. Kingmo bring it out of backcourt. Little bursts of energy comes across the timeline. Feeds it to Zare out between the circles. Zare bounce pass down at the low block. That is Jason Todd. Spins, misses a little short lay-in, no good. Mayu grabs the rebound for Stadium. Here come the Tigers out of backcourt. Behind the back, that's got to be a travel. It is for Lucius Brown, and a technical foul is going to be called on Lucius Brown as well, as he said something, as Hap Thakema made the call on the travel. That was an easy one. Then right in the ear of Todd Weber was Lucius Brown, and he's going to foul out of this ball game. So a turnover, and he's called for a technical foul.
Yep, so you're fouling out. That's his 5th personal foul on the technical, and he has no one to blame except himself.
Yeah, and now he's being
kind of restrained by one of the assistant coaches.
Coach Coquet is just having a talk with Todd Weber.
You know, I think that's one of those things that it's kind of, you know, all the thing that's been going on the entire ball game. It may not have, at that particular point, you know, been as bad as it could have been, but it's that constant, you know, whine the whole time that finally caught up with him.
Yeah. The other end, free throw, first one good, all by himself. There's Dan Kingma. Makes it a 22-point ball game. So Jackson puts it on cruise control here this final quarter. Next one is going to be good. And a timeout called by Stadium. We'll step aside with 5 minutes and 54 seconds to play in the 4th and final quarter. It's Jackson 53, Stadium 30. Snohomish County Western Conference Basketball and Classic Country 1520 KXA.
A cocaine.
Bill, is we're more discussions off mic than we are on mic, especially about the play of Lucius Brown, who's now fouled out of this ball game.
Yeah, I would think that Doug Coquet, as much as he hates losing this ball game, is thinking to himself, well, that's one difficult kid to coach that I don't have to deal with next year.
Yeah, his body language, we've noticed it all during the game, and half the time, honestly, if you're sitting here at the gym, you're just not going to notice it, and we're not going to say anything, but it just a very strange thing, and I think some of the sniping that we saw between the players for Stadium kind of stemmed from there as well. So here we go, Jackson with the basketball. They're going to win this ball game. We're 5:42 from a trip to the Tacoma Dome for the Timberwolves and a return trip to the state tournament. Here's Saufer, shoots a three from the left wing, up no good. Gallinesi grabs the rebound for Stadium. Now to Tuttle across the timeline, dribbling in with the right hand, surrounded by 5 white shirts from Mill Creek, so he'll swing it back out for a 3-ball. Up, it's going to be no good by Gallinesi, and the rebound taken down by Jason Todd, and you probably think they'll start to release some of course, they haven't played a lot of ball games. 3 weeks they've played 3 ball games, this being the 4th one. If you're in the winner's bracket of the district tournament, you only play 3 games in 2 weeks. Here's a shot up by Brian Zaire, gets fouled on the way in, and Zaire will be at the free throw line. That's the 10th team foul, so double bonus now. 5 personal fouls on Malik Mayu as well. He will go to the bench, and so Moorhead will check back in. And so will Blake Wilcox, a 6'5 freshman. Oh, he's going to come in a moment. Mayu, has he gone to the bench? He has. Now they're going to bring him in. And checking in for Zaire here will be Riley Waite in just a moment after he's done shooting free throws.
It's time for Stadium to get some of these younger players that are coming next year, some regional playoff experience. They're obviously not going to win this ball game, but they can build towards next year.
Free throws up, and it is good, and he will get another. Again, Arlington was leading 47-41. Next free throws up and good by Zaire. He goes to the bench. Riley Waite checks in. So I think slowly but surely the starters will be coming to the side, and they'll next await a drawing on Sunday from the WIAA headquarters in Renton as to who and when they will play on on Thursday down at the Tacoma Dome. The 4A boys, in the first 4 games of the day, they go to the morning bracket, and it's Jackson, and we will see them down in Tacoma and follow them next week. Here's an inbounds pass, but it's going to be stolen away. That's 17 steals. Riley Waite gets this one, a little tip drill. Over the left-hand side it goes. Connor Wilgress now to Kingma out between the circles. Swings it past left-hand side to Saufer. Got some good quality minutes in this ball game. Out between the circles again to Kingma, 18 to shoot. Kingma now to Todd. Back to Kingma again. Still on the dribble, just working time. 4.5 minutes to play. 11 to shoot. Little dribble drive in, going in. Off. How did that go through? He was halfway up to Baker Hall up here before he released the ball, and it still went through at 57-30. 27-point lead for the Jackson Timberwolves.
Yes.
Dribble in right side. Moorhead got the lay-in, foul called. Will they say continuation?
Nope.
No, they're going to wipe it off. It's not going to happen. It's going to be on the floor, so it'll be out of bounds here for Stadium. Now here's a line change for Jackson. Todd goes to the bench. Kingma goes to the bench. Saufer will check out. Wilgress goes to the bench. So
Wow, what a defensive effort. Stadium has scored just 7 points in the second half. We're halfway through the 4th quarter. 7 points in a quarter and a half.
We're going to have to start talking about our player of the game here in a moment. Out between the circles now. Tuttle dribbling in against Ozuna, and the hand check foul is going to be called on Blake Ozuna. Who do you like in this one? It's kind of all over the board.
Yeah, it's all over the board just because this has been such a great defensive effort. And even though, his stats don't jump out at you, I kind of think Marcus Blake has really set the tone for this ball game on the defensive end, in this effort that has held the Narrows League champion to just 30 points with a little less than 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. So my vote goes to Marcus Blake.
I think we will go with that. We will talk with him in our Wesco Rap post-game show coming up here after the ball game from here at Everett Community College. Again, a doubleheader tomorrow on Fox Sports 1380. Linwood Bellarmine girls at 2 p.m., 6 p.m. Glacier Peak and Mercer Island girls. Dribbling in, going in, off-balance lay-in, no good by Isaiah Patrick, and he's going to go to the free throw line. Missed the lay-in, though, got the foul called on Stadium, and they're going to get Blake Wilcox with the foul. That's his first personal foul, and the 10th team foul. Double bonus anyway, so Isaiah Patrick at the line, the 6'1 junior for the Jackson Timberwolves. Free throw up, too hard, no good. Now Jordan O'Connor checks into the ball game for Stadium. So Stadium probably will go with some of their starters the whole way, some of these players that played the whole year, as this will end their season. Next free throw is good. 58-30. 28-point lead for Jackson. Eric Tuttle. Tuttle has it, then knocked away. Stolen, Holden Roberts with it. Now to Blake Ozuna. Ozuna out of back court. Stops between the circles. Swing a pass over the left-hand side to Holden Roberts. Starts to dribble with the left hand. Splits a couple of defenders, goes in, laying up. Good! Count the basket for Holden Roberts, and he will go to the free throw line.
Jackson has doubled up the score. 33-7 here in the fourth quarter as Jackson leads 60-30.
And it could be more here with Holden Roberts at the free throw line with 3:14 to play in the fourth and final quarter here. You can stay with us for our post-game show. Free throw up and good, 61-30. Jackson up big. Led it 11-6 at the end of the first quarter, 27-23 at the half, and then they just poured the coals here in the second half. As they swing it past left-hand side, Stadium with the basketball moving to our right. Bobby Moorhead with it, closed off at the baseline. They'll swing it back out to the top of the key. Out between the circles, looking down low. Here's a fadeaway jumper on the way. Moorhead rims out a three ball, no good. Rebound taken down and grabbed by Jackson. Riley Waite to Ozuna. Ozuna slowed up there. Give it off to Patrick. They work the perimeter left-hand side. Nick Hovorka with it. Down low to Ozuna. Puts it up. A little turnaround hook. No good. Gets it back off the rebound by Riley Waite. Ozuna with the bucket. And it's 63-30. A 33-point lead for Jackson. And a timeout whistled here by Stadium. We'll take a break with 2 minutes and 19 seconds to play in regulation time. Jackson 63, Stadium 30. Snohomish County Western Conference basketball on Classic Country 1520 KXA.
Yeah. Well, just tell me how to do it. So.
To 30, a 33-point lead for Jackson. Down at Kent Meridian High School, not as good a news as score just coming in with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Arlington's been committing a lot of turnovers, according to Mark Ockett. Kent Ridge 58, Arlington 55. Chargers 58, Eagles 55 with 3:19 to go in the fourth. Again, turnovers with 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation points on his text. That must mean bad things. So here we go. Not bad things here as a Stadium with the basketball. 2 minutes and 12 seconds to play as they'll work it down. Now all of the second stringers in there for the Tigers as well. So all second stringers here. Bob Blackmer used to call it garbage time here in this fourth and final quarter. We're going to hear from our player of the game down on the floor level. Bill, we're not going to make you walk all the way down there. We're going to send Buddy Patrick with a wireless mic.
This new technology, it's just amazing.
And it is down 2 full flights of stairs. We are 2 floors above the playing surface. Here's a long 3-ball left-hand side. Bobby Moorhead is a starter, and he's still in there, and he drains a 3-ball, and it's a 30-point lead for Jackson. 1:50 to play in the game. We'll hear from Marcus Blake coming up in the postgame show. Going in, laying up, and it is good by Holden Roberts. And we're going to have to, didn't bring the shirts in, so we'll have to owe him a shirt, which we'll get it to him. We'll see him down at the Tacoma Dome. As Stadium now will work it here with a minute and a half to play. 65-33 the score. Here again is Moorhead, shoots another three, this time from the right side. This one won't go, and the rebound grabbed by Blake Ozuna. Out of backcourt to Holden Roberts out between the circles. Swings a pass left-hand side, Dylan Mitchell. These are all seniors as well. They just haven't gotten as much playing time as their senior compatriots have been playing the bulk of the time here. Dribbling in, going in, laying up, missed, no good by Isaiah Patrick. The Hovorka puts it back up and in. Nick Hovorka off the window and in. It's 67-33. A 34-point lead for Jackson. Inside 45 seconds to play in the basketball game. So Stadium's season will come to a close. Ozuna got a steal, then stepped out of bounds. So they'll reset the shot clock, I believe, because they had possession. They still have 22 on the shot clock. 39 seconds to go in the game. Jackson leading at 67-33. Wesco Wrap postgame show coming your way just as soon as we wrap it up here. Swing a pass right-hand side. Three ball on the way. Up no good by Brnovich. Rebound grabbed by Jackson. Timberwolves out of backcourt. Isaiah Patrick down to 25 seconds to go. Shot clock is dead. They do not have to take a shot. And the Stadium is kind of giving up the ghost. And one of their players is just walking off the floor as they're just going to wait and hold on for the final 11 seconds. They're just all kind of standing around. This ball game will draw to a close. Wow. It's been a long time, Bill, since I've seen a performance. Jackson is just fine. Stadium, wow, I just haven't seen that. As they're walking off the floor while the time is still going on. Jackson wins it 67-33. Stadium scores 10 points in the second half, while the Jackson Timberwolves score 40 points.